nice party. There's always a party. Let's go.
Let's go. What's up, baby? How we doing?
I'm excited for today's show because we sort of have like a movie edition show today.
It's very movie heavy, movie-centric. So if you like the movies, you like our entertainment stuff that we do, stick around. You got a good show.
You really loaded up the set with some of your favorite movie like products, like Back to the Future stuff.
We added some. We do have a Back to the Future like thing that we're going to be doing later with a fact that we have. So we got Marty and Doc in the front. We got the DeLorean. Ryan wanted to make sure we got a slate on the set today. If you're watching on YouTube,
big movie episode. We're doing things we hate that happens in the movie theaters.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing first. Then we're going into one of the most famous movie Easter eggs of all time. We have like 7 of them, I think, 6 or 7 of them. So those are gonna be cool. And then we're going to round up the show with some shit that we've learned in our 20s so far. Me and Paul are both in our mid-20s, so that's the show we got on today's slate. See what I did there?
The slate. Yep. We're going to start out. So you said you got some movie thing you want to...
I did. I'm going back to the movies.
Yeah.
Put it on the presser, front page of news, Washington Post. Ryan's going back to the movie theater Friday to see Space Jam.
Space Jam is the movie that got you.
We took off LeBron James off the set.
We should, yeah. What the heck?
I forgot about that.
If there was any week we had LeBron.
We had him on. We wouldn't talk about LeBron. Now we have Space Jam that we were going to touch on, and now he's not on the set. But I'm excited. I ordered tickets online yesterday for the Friday show, 9 p.m. Tickets are already flying for that, so it's going to be a packed house, I would assume.
What, are you seeing an AMC or Cinemark?
Cinemark. Big Cinemark guy.
Yeah, you're definitely a Cinemark guy.
But you just got back from the movies as well.
I did. I saw Black Widow. I saw opening night, like Thursday night.
There was a lot of hype for that.
There's a lot. I mean, every Marvel movie is a good time. I really enjoyed Black Widow. It's definitely not the top tier for Marvel movies for me. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. But I think that's because of we're being spoiled with Marvel content right now. We have 3 Disney Plus shows, all featuring Marvel characters in the MCU. We get to watch them week to week. We're about to hit the season finale of Loki, which comes out tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, the season finale will already be out. So like getting back to the movies and getting to see Marvel, I don't think was as big of a hype as it usually is.
Because off the mics, you told me that Black Widow, they sort of have to get the Marvel like universe back on track. Like Endgame is like the top notch, and then you sort of have to get everybody back on path. Like that's not reality. Yeah. Like not every movie is gonna be a Marvel Endgame or whatever Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, everything's not gonna be an Endgame. That was a culmination of 10 years of filmmaking and storytelling, and now we're in our new set of Marvel stuff. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be great and it's gonna be a good journey. But at the end of the day, the scale is just not gonna be there. So you can't expect that from every Marvel movie going forward.
It would also be remiss if we haven't put in a plug of Paul's little side gig on Life's a Party. It's Life's a Screening Party.
Yeah.
And you can go check it out. Is it sort of like, how do they get to it from our page, or can they not?
So we haven't attached it to the page yet. I can, if it makes it easier for everybody, or like, if Ryan's cool with it too. Like,
nope, not allowed. Nope.
It's something that...
I need my own channel now.
Yeah, I told him. I said, yo, we want to do something. But this is something I've always wanted to do for a while. And because we do the podcast and maybe we can, have some fans crisscross and kind of like both parties, that if this is something you're interested in. So it's called Life's a Screening Party. You could search it on YouTube. We might put it up on the Instagram to see, maybe in the links or something, and so you can find it over there. But if you search on YouTube Life's a Screening Party, I started doing movie reviews.
I like what you did. You did the live trailer reaction.
The trailer
I
reactions.
did like those. Those were cool because you don't really see those often.
Yeah, I mean, I've done them. So 3 movies now. I've done it, or 3 trailers. I've done it for Disney's new animated film coming out next year. It's called Encanto. I did it for a new Marvel series coming out on Disney Plus in the summer called What If. And then I actually just filmed one today for Pixar's new film that comes out next year. It's called Turning Red. So definitely check out this trailer reactions. I did a Black Widow movie review. If you're interested in that too, it's a little longer, but
those live trailer reviews, they have to be, or like live reactions, they have to be challenging. I feel like I won't even be able to, because like you want them to see the trailer for the first time, and then like you don't know what to say because you're not prepared. You're off the cuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do I talk? But then if I talk, maybe they have like dialogue and you miss it. There's a lot going on with that. So it looks very difficult. I don't think I'd be able to do that.
It's a fun thing. It's a balancing act. I'll only get better as I go. As we say on the show too, we only get better as we go, and we continue to do this. But yeah, thanks for if you want to check that out, definitely check it out. Life's a
right,
Party or Life's a Screening Party on YouTube.
All right, so one more plug before we get into the show.
Yeah, we got
Scuba beer. I think they're starting to think we forgot about them.
No,
but
we
since
did.
Paul's been on medication, we haven't been big drinkers.
Yeah, wait,
on
can
the show.
we address this real quick?
Yeah, mental institution.
So I was editing the episode and posting the episode, and if you listen to it, Ryan just talks about like me at the mental institution and on medication, and we never clarified that it's not for it's not mental issues. It's not for a mental. I mean, if you have some mental problems,
they're
like
poop issues.
no, they're not.
Yeah, they are. They're
poop issues.
Poop issues.
But just trying to get my life back on track and trying to figure some stuff out. So I haven't been able to drink. And then comes entail we haven't been able to scuba.
So I figured I'd get the scuba bucket hat. That is Paul's, so I am stealing it from him. He's probably really
It looks
mad
good though.
about
If
it.
you're on YouTube, check out.
It does look pretty good. All right, so we do have a promo code, Life's a Party, right?
Yeah,
10% or 15%?
10% off. Use the code Life's a Party at checkout and scuba beer. If you want one, definitely check it out. It's in the link in our bio, so you can check that out on TikTok or Instagram.
This is how you do it. You simply put it on the beer and choke.
So yeah, it's a pretty simple tool as always. That's a great shotgun tool. It's good for bottles. There's one for cans. They got some merch, as we said. They got a bucket hat over here. Love the bucket hat
It's
look.
nice. I don't know if it's one size fits all, but it fits my head. So
I got a big
probably
head
fit
too,
yours.
so yeah.
All right,
It looks good.
I need to switch my hats.
But we can start going into the show. Ryan said the first thing we're going to be doing is annoying things at the movies.
Yeah, I feel like you get really angry at half this shit. Like Paul's like one of those like anal retentive like moviegoers that's like any little thing that goes on in the movie theater irritates you.
Well, here's the thing, because I think we both are in this boat that we want movies to thrive in the theater, and we want theater going to thrive. And I like going to the movie theater. Do you not?
I do like going. That's why I'm going Friday.
Right. So you like that experience. And the thing is, with streaming options, we talked about it on a few shows back when we were talking about like our best streaming services and like, what can the movies do to bring people back to the theater, right? And we talked about that. And
Is my hat crooked as hell? I can't tell.
yeah, you gotta get back on track.
Keep talking.
But that was something, we wanted to be like, hey, what can bring people back into the movie theater? And if there's a lot of distractions and a lot of things that can make your movie going experience bad, so that just only pushes people to stay at home and stay on streaming, which we don't want.
And some of these things might be boosted because we saw that in the professional sports. Like these fans finally are back
That's
allowed in
true,
the
yeah.
arenas, spitting on Trae Young, throwing popcorn at Russell Westbrook. Do you think maybe some of the things we will talk about in a couple seconds, do you think these might be boosted as people start acting up in movie theaters since they're finally out and allowed to go see a movie?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it's not like, hey, I've been locked home for a year and a half, and I'm used to being on my phone during the movie as I'm streaming it on Netflix or whatever. And like, I don't want that. So hopefully that's not true, but we'll see.
All right, so we found a poll online that was things that are most annoying during a movie at a movie theater. So we're going to go down these lists. It was out of 100%, obviously. So then,
Wow, good math there.
so there's 10 of them, and obviously they're separated into 100%. So the first one is having your seat kicked is the most. 29.5% people said that's the most annoying thing at a movie theater.
I don't know if
Have you ever had a little kid behind you just go to town on your seat?
I've been fortunate enough. I definitely have had it like moved and bumped, and most of the time it's because someone's trying to squeeze through the aisle.
I was gonna say because
Like old seating, like
Right.
old theater seating.
So when did the seating change where you have a lot of space now between rows? I don't know if every movie theater is like that.
No.
It's not?
So no, it's usually most of the theaters have to be renovated, right? Because if you're at an old movie theater, you have a theater that can sit maybe like 300 people. It's a big theater. And now because you have renovated seating and reserved seating where it's like the big comfy recliners, most of them usually the capacity has gone down, extremely, but the price has gone up because you're paying for that luxury seating. And also now you can like reserve seat. So you can like reserve your seat online, and that's the whole purpose. So you have a big seat, you can reserve it. And with that being said, like with that being done too, the aisles aren't as close together usually. But here's the thing too, that now you have recliners and your seat reclines and your feet come up. So a lot of times when your feet come up, it's not that much room for, if you have to go to the bathroom or something to squeeze through that person's feet.
Dude, I had a guy behind me recline his feet, and they're kind of close to my head. His shoes off.
So like
So
could
then,
smell
like, I
his
could
feet.
like smell his feet. So like, obviously, that's not cool. I didn't enjoy that.
No.
So maybe I was 29.5%. But it is weird how some theaters will literally have like 3 rows of like 8 chairs per row. I do like those movie theaters though. But all right, next one.
Next one we have, a big pet peeve of mine, is talking. You should not be talking during the movie. Whether that's your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever asking you, hey, what, is he about to die? Or like, oh, is she a spy or whatever? It's like, dude, she or he is watching the movie at the same time you are. They have no clue what's going to happen in the future.
Dude, I hate when people announce things in the movie theater. It's like I'll be like in like a Marvel's movie and be like, "Here comes Spider-Man." Like, no shit, it's fucking Spider-Man. You don't have to announce, "Here comes Spider-Man." Yeah. You're like, I see him. We all see them. We don't have to announce that Spider-Man's coming because we see him.
Yeah,
I hate that. What's really bad is during the trailers, they'll be like, "Oh, what's that guy from? Oh, I love him from this movie." I hear that all the time. It's like, just watch the trailer.
That's definitely something I see people talk about. If like a new actor comes on screen, it could be like, you know, if you were at home, you'd be like, oh, who's that actor? And you would usually search it on IMDb.
Right.
And you'd be like, oh, what else were they in? You could find that answer very quickly. But if you're in the theater, you can't be like, hey, like, what's she in? Or like, where's she from? Or you know, whatever.
Yeah, like, I can't stand that. I love him from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, we know, dude. Keep it to yourself.
Next one.
Is just anybody who's on their phone at any time.
Agreed. Terrible thing.
Especially when I'm one that doesn't usually have my brightness down. So, like, when I open my phone, it's full blast. So, I've probably been this person a couple times. But it is a distraction, especially when, like, when you're talking about how you're higher up.
Yeah.
So, you can, like, I'm guilty of this. I read their text messages in front of me.
Dude, if
they're on the phone and the movie's going on, I'm, like, reading this girl's conversations.
I've had that where there was somebody right in front of me, same idea, like, phone, full blast, like, dude, one, like, you should be conscious of, like, if you're, it's very limited that I've ever been on my phone during a movie, but, like, if you are, there's a few things you should do. One, brightness all the way down. Two, put it, like, by your side if you were in school and trying to cheat. Like, it should be by your side, you know, down low. If you need to check something, you shouldn't be doing it anyway. But if that, like, I've seen people just, like, right out front, super, like, I'm like, dude, there's people behind you, man. I'll go up if you don't turn that thing off within 30 seconds. I'll go up and kick you. Like, I'll go up and show you what's going on, or, you know, it's just not worth it. And I won't go out to get a manager, because then I'm missing the movie. Like, I don't want to miss the movie.
You just handle it yourself.
Yeah, like, handle it yourself. Grab the phone, throw it against the wall, and break it, and the guy has no issue. Like,
does this include people who, like, take phone calls in the movie theater?
Oh,
what's bad is when someone takes the phone call during the movie theater, but they step out to, like, the hallway, but you could still hear them. The whole theater still hears you. Like, what is the point of getting up if you're just going to go to the hallway where we can all see and hear you? Like, either don't take the call or just go all the way out of the movie theater. You might as well sit in your fucking seat and take the call, because you're right there anyway.
I've had one guy on the phone before in the movie theater, and I was just, I just was floored. Like, I don't understand how people don't know the etiquette of a theater, that you would think that talking on the phone is okay.
Was he a Bluetooth guy?
No, he was not.
I feel like that would have been a Bluetooth guy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next one.
Eating noisy. What am I saying? Yeah, eating noisy food. So anything that's making a lot of noise.
Well, 7.5% of people.
Oh, yes. I got to say the
I forgot the
percentages.
last one.
Yeah, 7.5% of people say that eating noisy food is their biggest or most annoying thing that happens during the movie theater. I don't really know what's too much.
Nachos.
But like the
nachos during Nacho Libre. That's a double whammy right there.
Just eating. I think the biggest problem is like opening a pack of candy. Like opening like Sour Patch Kids or something. I like snuck chips in the other day, and like a bag of chips is so loud in a movie theater.
It does get very quiet. Like, even when I get Reese Pieces and I'll try to dump them in my mouth, but you still hear it. But like the nachos, I used to get nachos too almost every time. It was like nachos for me as a kid was like my popcorn. I don't know why. But I was just like, every time I went to the movies, I got nachos, but I was probably that little asshole kid crunching on some freaking nachos during Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
Candy, yeah.
Candy. I'm trying to think. Oh, one of the fun, like, it's funny to me, but I know it's probably not to anyone else. But in the movie theater, if I sneak like a soda in or a can, I think cracking a can in the movie theater is the funniest thing, because cracking a can
that noise
is like pretty loud, and the fact that everyone in the theater knows that they shouldn't be hearing that sound because they don't sell it. Yeah, they don't sell it there, so
That is pretty funny.
like certain stuff like that.
All right, next one is people who sit in the wrong seat and refuse to move. That's 6.9% people said that's their biggest pet peeve with people in movie theaters. Kids show.
So, 6.9%. I was like, kids show. Where's it again? Something that I realized too. It's weird. So we have different types of theaters where you have the newly renovated theaters, right, with the new seating, reserved seating, like the recliners and stuff, and then you have older type of theaters where you would walk in and you just picked a seat, right? It's like whatever.
Is that how it went down?
Yeah, like you would walk in the theater,
yeah.
you would see all the seats open. If there were people sitting there, you could just walk up to a seat and grab it, right? And that was your seat, and usually people gave you your space if it wasn't a full house or opening night or that kind of thing. But here's the thing now, too, where I went to a movie theater the other day, and it was an older theater, but it was reserved seating. So they took, these like small, old, like imagine an older movie theater, these smaller chairs, and they actually did the reserved seating system to it. But I was like, dude, this is so annoying because there's so much room in this theater, but I have to sit in this one seat where two people bought the tickets next to me, then I have an open seat, and then 3 people bought the tickets next to that seat. So it's like, but there's like 100 seats open. Yeah. So it's like, why am I doing this? But then here's the thing. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to sit next to someone where there's 100 seats in the theater that are open. So I moved to a new seat, and now I'm no longer in my reserved seat. 5 minutes later, someone's like, hey, you're sitting in my seat. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like,
and then there's only 4 seats taken of the whole theater.
It's like there's only 10 seats taken. There's 150 seats in here. Just pick a new seat. Like, don't come to me and complain that I'm in your seat where I already had to move because people were too close to me. So that I don't like about the reserved seating of like the older theaters.
As we continue to do more shows, I continue to realize that I'm an asshole. Like, I am an asshole. So
you're fitting all of these things.
What me and my girlfriend do, which is really fucked up, is that we get the handicap seats.
A lot of people do that. I've only done it once, and someone was like, "Hey, you really shouldn't be taking these seats."
So the good thing about the handicap seats is that there's only 2 together.
Yeah.
So there's no way that anybody could sit next to you. But then this one time, we were in the handicap seats.
Here it is.
I was eating my popcorn. In comes wheelchair man. And there was nowhere for him to sit and no place for his, because the wheelchair man's supposed to sit next to the seats, and then he has the person next to it. But they didn't have that anymore because me and my healthy girlfriend were snacking on popcorn and Dr. Pepper in the movie theater, and the dude had to sit right next to the screen. Poor man probably can't walk and he can't see anymore because he was so close to the damn screen. He's probably blind now. So now I feel like I'm an asshole.
Yeah, that's the problem, especially with movies that are packed, like maybe Space Jam or Black Widow, those opening nights or that opening weekend. I mean, usually if you're buying tickets last minute to a reserved a theater that does reserved seating, you can only access the front row, or like you said, the handicap seats.
Dude, the handicap or low key is a great spot. If it's not a popular movie and it's not going to be crowded, go for the handicap seat. Let me know how it is. It's amazing because you don't have to worry about sitting next to some asshole or some little kid talking all these things. You literally sit in the handicap seat. It's just you and your significant other or whoever you want to take to the movie theater. You have good vision of the screen. It's a beautiful thing, and you should try it out. But just hopefully no wheel person chair. What are those called? I mean, oh God. Okay. I'm getting canceled.
Next one. Next one we have walking in and out during the movie. So this is 5.5% of people say this is their most annoying thing.
I feel like we're both, me and Paul, we pee a lot, especially when we go to the movies. I mean, I drink a large Dr. Pepper, and I have to go to the bathroom probably at least three times in a movie, depending on the length of the movie.
Okay.
So I guess I am that guy. It is annoying because especially when you're not sitting on the end.
Yeah.
And then you have to get up and... I mean, I try to, duck. At least be courtesy where you can, duck across the row and run. I run.
Yeah, I see that.
But I do get up pretty often, unfortunately.
I definitely did that as a teenager. I was always in and out because, as Ryan said, I'd get the large pop or I'd get the large soda and I'd be peeing.
You always got refills, too.
Yeah.
Paul was always a big refill guy.
I mean, if you're gonna give it to me for free, or the popcorn, right? You might get a free refill on the popcorn. So you gotta get.
Is it worth it though? Is that whole trip to go get the refill of the popcorn worth missing 15, 20 minutes of the movie?
You gotta figure out a good time where you can go.
Yeah, but you never seen the movie. How are you gonna figure out a good time?
I don't know. But I have this intuition. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I don't really I don't know. It's just hard. There's people. Yeah, be courteous, duck, get an NC if you're a big time peer,
Yeah.
and just try not to do
Just
it.
sit in the handicap spot.
That's
what we're getting from here.
That solves the issue.
You're right
though.
by the exit.
Yeah.
It's literally the perfect spot.
You're in the back row. You're right by the exit. You're not. If you get up, you're not going to be in front of anyone.
No.
So
That's it. All right, next one. Kissing and cuddling. People hate it. 3.21 or 3.1. Take off. 3.2% people said this is their biggest. I don't even know what we're talking about. What are we talking about?
most annoying thing.
Most annoying thing in a movie theater is when people kiss and cuddle, which I really hate as well. What really sets me over the edge and off the bridge is when they bring a blanket. Like, leave the blanket out.
Why? Why are you not?
You bring
fan
a
of-
blanket? Well, Mom brings a blanket.
I don't bring a blanket
Or a snuggie. What are those things that they wear?
A snuggie
Snuggies?
or a
They wear the blanket.
or a huggle, like those big sweatshirts. You know, the huggles.
Leave the snuggie, huggles, blankets, Crocs. You leave the Crocs at home too. Leave them at home.
See, the thing is, I'm not a person to bring the blanket, but I'm not opposed to the blanket. It's cold in a movie theater. If you want to bring a blanket, and you
Yeah, but that leads to kissing and cuddling. You can't not bring a blanket.
yeah, but here's the thing too. Those big recliners, they have if you get two people in a seat, the middle moves up. Why does it move up if you're not supposed to?
So they
cuddle?
could have sexual intercourse.
No. Well, dude, have you seen the movie theaters now that have beds?
What?
So it's a dine-in theater and it's a bed. So you're sitting there and you're on the bed and you can like literally lounge as if you're at your house, and you got a little recliner and then maybe like a waiter comes, you get a blanket.
Yeah, no movie watching's being done in that cubby.
That's not a theater that you would like to go to.
Well, my thing is what goes on under the blanket. Exactly. I don't want the blanket. Everyone, reveal yourself. We're here to watch Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
No funny business going on. Let's just watch the movie, eat our popcorn. No phone calls. No kicking my seat. Let's just relax and watch a good time on the movie screen.
Next one we have 3% of people say that someone encroaching on their seat is the most annoying thing happens in a movie theater.
I guess you talked about it.
So
already.
yeah, just encroaching is somebody like being really close to you, I guess. Like
What if they just walk up and walk away?
I remember one of the biggest problems or like annoying things I hated when I was going to a theater when I was younger, was before the recliners and stuff, is who like you wanted to be the person who got the cup holder. So sometimes, like, you know, your cup holders at the old theaters, you would be sharing one with someone else, right? So it's like, dude, if I drank a lot of, like, if I want my soda on my right hand, I got to make sure that guy doesn't want it on his left hand, and that, you know, he's not taking all the cup holders. Like, I need that cup holder. And I remember that used to be a problem.
Or that's like the elbow thing too. Like I need my
Or
elbow.
it's like, yeah, how do you watch the movie? Do you like have your arms crossed? Do you have your arms on the armrest, like folded out? Like, how do you watch the movie?
Also, I'm just gonna be an asshole this show. So, like when old people come in, it's dark.
When
old people come in, it's dark in the movie theater, and they have their tickets, and they got the flashlight, and like row 6, row 7, and they're like lost. They're walking up and down. I'm like, I'm in row 5. You're in front of me. Let's keep it going. But they're like, oh, is this 8? I'm like, dude, there are 2 rows up, dude. Sit down.
I feel like that's mostly for like a musical, because a lot of times like musicals and plays, I mean, you don't have too much experience, but a lot of times like when people go in late or whatever, the usher will come with a flashlight. And it's like, dude, this is mad annoying.
It's so annoying. All right. Next one is eating smelly food. 2.9% said that's their most annoying thing at a movie theater. I don't really know what's smelly at a movie theater.
Yeah, I mean,
a hot dog?
Can
you get hot dogs at a movie theater?
You could. I mean, the dine-in theaters now, you can get a lot more food. You can get like full meals, but I don't know what's like too stinky. Like, what would be really stinky unless you brought it in yourself? But I mean, what are you bringing in?
Like a sandwich?
Like a what would you really be bringing in? I feel like everything at a movie theater smells pretty good. Popcorn good, nachos good, pretzels good, cheese good.
What's one thing though about food that pisses me off that isn't on this list is when like there's like a family. I'm just like being an asshole.
Yeah,
when there's like a family.
Going.
I mean, I've done this too, but the mom's got the big bucket and they bring like the little cups.
Yes.
The red Solo cups. And she's got like 12 kids, like Philip Rivers. And she's like dipping them in and then passing it here. This one's for Jill. This one's for Jack.
Yes.
And you know, did Bobby get his popcorn? Like, oh my God, can we figure this out? Like, it's a good technique and process, but it's a little annoying and distracting to go on in front of me.
I agree. My mom used to do that when we would. I mean, that's
my mom
the thing.
did that too, but it's just annoying.
If you bring a lot of kids to the movie theater, what's it called? Real quick. So my first birthday, or the first like birthday party, like real party I had as a kid, I think I was turning like 4 or 5, and we went to the movie theater, and Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, the movie came out on my birthday.
It was destined.
Dude, I love Jimmy Neutron, and I think that's why I love him so much. And we, brought like 20 kids to the movie theater, and that's the thing. The popcorns have like free refills, so you get like one box, you get one bucket of popcorn, and your mom's got the red Solo cups. I love that. That just made me think of that memory.
It's a good assembly line. It's productive but annoying.
And last one we have here is 1.6% of people, their most annoying thing at a movie theater is slurping drinks.
It's finished. The drink is over.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the slurp. Ryan loves a slurp.
Yeah, no one likes the slurp, but I like the slurp.
Does it on the show all the time. I think really slurping, dude, like if that doesn't bother you while you're doing it and you realize it, like you have to get something checked out.
Sometimes I unconsciously do it by accident. Like I don't know I'm doing it.
Okay.
But, stay away from the slurp. Leave that for me.
I feel like the worst you could do is like an icy.
Yeah.
When you get to the bottom of the icy and it no longer goes up the straw, so you have to like push your straw around to the icy, and you got to find the new icy spot.
So the slurp is like a 20-minute thing.
Yeah, so you're slurping, find a new spot, you slurp, find a new spot. Like that's annoying, and I can see where that's annoying.
Stay away from the slurp. The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush.
Whew.
Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscape, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation performance package includes the brand-new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do it right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code Life's a Party.
Got to make sure you're looking good down there. You know what I mean? Be like an Olympic athlete. I agree. Get 20% off with free shipping and the code Life's a Party at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping with the code Life's a Party at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped.
Can't be an Olympic athlete? Shave your balls. And then you could feel like an Olympic athlete.
Okay, good.
Michael Phelps, before he hits the water, shaves all his pubes, gets that nice little glisten in the water. That's what creates the speed. That's what creates the GOAT. And you can be the GOAT by shaving your balls.
You at your aunt's house, same idea, right? In the pool, just shave your balls.
Just put on some pump-up music, get the shaver going, get it blasting like your pregame warm-up, and shave your balls.
There you go.
Drink every time we say shave your balls.
Shave your balls.
Shave your balls.
So, moving on, next segment we have is the 7 best movie Easter eggs in history.
You're a big Easter egg guy.
Yeah, there's so many Easter eggs in films. Like, we could do so many shows. Like, we'll definitely return to this segment. We've done some Easter eggs in Pixar films. We could do a whole thing in, like, Marvel films. And, like, it's Easter eggs are a lot of fun, especially if you're someone who likes movies.
I like when they tie into the story.
Yes.
Like, sometimes Easter eggs are just put there just to, like, be there. Like they'll be like, I think like Goofy's in like The Little Mermaid or something with Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse.
So there's a new one is Donald Duck. There's a stuffed animal of Donald Duck in the new Pixar film Luca.
Oh, there is.
So yeah, when the two characters are in her room, Donald Duck's like right at the bottom as a stuffed animal. It's like a quick little.
Yeah, it's like a little Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
But I like when it kind of like intertwines with stories.
So you're saying more of. Well, something we kind of talked about on the show is the idea of the Pixar theory, right? So it's like every Pixar film is connected. Right. And the thing is, when you watch each film, you look for little things that make that theory more true.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, like, oh, we found this, or like, oh, we found this, and that connects to that, and that connects to that. So then it makes the theory more true.
Right. So, but we have like 7 of the most historic.
Yeah.
Well, what a lot of people.
We got some famous Easter eggs in film, and we're just going to talk about them a little bit. So the first one we have here is Fight Club and the use of Starbucks.
Buc-ee's.
So Bucks.
Buc-ee's.
Fight Club is a film about consumerism, and one major point being how unaware our behavior.
We often are.
Yeah, we often are. So how unaware of our behavior we are.
Like, we're not really paying attention to shit.
Yeah, like if we're just watching something, right? Like, or, maybe we're being advertised to and we don't even realize it. So it was something that the director, David Fincher, really wanted to do, and he wanted to emphasize this. So what he decided to do was in every scene, he put a Starbucks cup of coffee. And
That's nuts to me. Every single scene.
Yeah. So
That's crazy. That just like, dude. I wonder because like I don't think I've seen the movie. I haven't seen Fight Club.
Okay.
But I wonder what the statistics are of like the people who saw and noticed that Starbucks were in every scene. Like maybe you see a couple of them, but the notice in every single scene is pretty nuts. That kind of just goes to show that like we easily get distracted on like the vocal point. Like there's like a whole bunch of brain exercises where like or like riddles where you'll see like what's ever in the foreground, but then you can't see what's in the background. You're obviously missing the most obvious. Or like the sentences where it's like, can you find the mistake in the sentence? And like no one can ever pick up the double duh.
Or even the famous photos where you're comparing like one photo to the other photo. And it's like, hey, can you find the difference? And it's sometimes really hard to note different things that could be like super obvious when you really look at them, or once you find them, you're like, oh, that was so obvious. So this is just something cool that David Fincher wanted to do. So there is a Starbucks cup of coffee in every scene in Fight Club, whether it's like hidden on the desks or in the characters' hands or just sprawled out on the floor like in trash. So that's something to definitely check out next time you watch Fight Club.
It's kind of funny how he thought about it too. Like he was like, okay, so if you're a producer, Paul, and you're working on a movie, I think the last thing you want to do is just like put on a little. It's almost like a joke.
Yeah.
Like he was saying how like it's hard to find a good cup of coffee in L.A. And he was like, but then Starbucks came around, Buc-ee's, top-notch coffee. And it was like there was one every block because it was so successful. So he was like, you know what? I'm just going to mess around and put a Starbucks logo or a Starbucks coffee in every single scene. like to have the balls to do that when you're working on one of the biggest projects of your life on a movie, it's pretty nuts.
So something that I've learned in filmmaking and just being a filmmaker in general, and that's something that you can be aware of when you watch films, is that like everything that is in the frame and is put on screen is intentional.
Yeah.
Everything. There are hundreds and thousands of people that are putting that movie together, and that things are intentional. It's like, this character walked by this way, or this was placed on this table this way, or it's like, dude, or this lines up perfectly and it kind of symbolizes this. It's like, dude, there was someone in the room who thought of that. Like, that is not a coincidence. Yeah. You're not the first person to find that. Like, everything in filmmaking is so intentional and meant to mean so many different things. So it's cool, and there's a lot of time and effort written in the scripts, in the editing bay. Filmmaking's really cool, and this is just one thing.
It's almost like a big FU.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna show you guys how much you don't pay attention.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna put these Starbucks and everything. But it's funny. All right, next one is The Godfather and how oranges are correlated into The Godfather. So this is by some mentioned as one of the most iconic Easter eggs in film history. So The Godfather's use of oranges, so similar to Scorsese's did in The Departed, I think is what Mark Wahlberg, is that Scorsese in Departed used an X. So whenever you would see an X on screen, it would mean it was a foreshadow for that actor or actress or that character is going to die. And it was said that like Mark Wahlberg in The Departed was the only character that wasn't in a scene with an X. Thus is why he survived and never died. But with The Godfather, the X for that film was oranges. So whenever there was an orange, it would indicate that character was going to die soon.
Okay.
So as you look through closely of the scene, you could see that there's an orange, and then soon to come is that death of that character, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, this falls in line with watching a film for the second time. So there's a lot of really cool films that once you know something, it's really interesting to watch it a second time. Something that I learned in, probably through TikTok or through YouTube, I found out, I think you're a big fan of this movie too. We both love Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out, great movie.
Okay, right. So mystery.
We did a movie review on the show here.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah.
Way back. That was way back.
We used to do movie reviews. If you're newer, like every week, we would pick a movie. We'd ask our audience to watch it with us, and then we would come and do a segment of the review. But in that movie, in Knives Out, something I realized or like was brought to my attention was that Apple. So the company Apple. Do you know where I'm going with this or no?
No.
Okay. So the company Apple. With your phone, right? So they have a rule, and it's written in the contract usually whenever you have to get permission to use an Apple product in the film, and Apple will pay for it and all that kind of stuff. But whenever an Apple product is used in a film, it cannot be used by like a villain or a bad guy. So if you're watching a murder mystery like Knives Out, everyone who's on their phone, if the person is using an Apple product, they're not the killer. They're not the bad person.
I just got goosebumps.
So that is some way that if you can, like if you show it to a new person for the first time, you tell them this fact, that can help eliminate people from the murder mystery and help for you to solve the
So
mystery.
in that movie, were there other characters that were using an iPhone?
Yeah,
and
like
not, what's his name? Chris Evans?
Chris Evans, yeah.
So he never used an iPhone.
Well, there's like that one
Sorry
kid.
for spoiling the movie.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. You should go see Knives Out. It's a good film. But there's like the bratty kid, right? And he's on his phone all the time, Apple product, so he can't be.
Dude,
the
that's
killer.
crazy. I didn't know that.
The I don't know who plays the aunt, but she's like the bitchy aunt, and you see her like one time, like she pulls something up on her phone, and they use technology in that film a lot too with their phone. So it's something that if you know of it, you can pay attention, and it'll help you like enjoy the story.
That was one movie, like you said, where it was a great second watch.
Yes.
Like the first time, lost. Me stupid. Me lost. Me no idea what even happened. Second time you watch, you get better and better. So I guarantee people who are listening to this or watching this are gonna, if they've seen one of these movies, are gonna go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back and watch it.
All right, what's the next one?
Next one we have is Toy Story and its connection to The Shining. So Toy Story, we talk about Pixar all the time, and something that's really cool in Toy Story, what they kind of did was when you went to Sid's house, when you see the toys on the carpet, that carpet is directly related to The Shining and the Overlook Hotel. So it's the same carpet design from The Shining in Toy Story.
This is so creepy. We have a picture of like Woody and Buzz in Andy's house with the carpet, and then we have this. I've never seen The Shining. I guess this kid's playing with toys, and some scary shit happens next.
Yeah,
I'm guessing, and it's kind of creepy to kind of see how. It's almost like how evil aligns in both
Correct.
movies. It's symbolizing evil is approaching, or it's just a sign that something bad's going to happen. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you have Sid, who's like your main antagonist of the film, who's destroying the toys, and the toys are scared of, to call back to this famous horror film, especially in this moment and the Overlook Hotel of the carpet. It's a cool reference, and if you're into film and you would notice that's just like, as I said, everything in the frame is intentional, especially for an animated film, because they're literally drawing everything. Like everything they have to put in is intentionally done because they're clearly making this world from scratch.
This is a really cool Easter egg because obviously the carpet was obviously portrayed to be like they're obviously correlated. Like carpets are defined. Like obviously they're supposed to match, and kind of the kids playing with toys, which is also a little bit like kind of like goosebumps. Like, oh, that's toys, and Buzz and Woody are toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this one.
I got
I
you.
might go watch The Shining now.
There you go. You will not like The Shining.
Why not? I don't like scary movies.
You don't, yeah, so you're not going to like this movie.
All right, next one is John Wick, and this is sort of like paying attention to detail. So when the films were released, obviously they were released years apart, but in the John Wick universe, film 1 and film 2 take place just 4 days apart. So for continuity's sake, all the cars outside the Continental Hotel and basically the same shot in both movies are lined up the same. So it's like a remarkable attention to detail on how the cars are still lined up. I mean, no one went to go get pizza or anything.
No.
I mean, no one went out to dinner. It's a little bit too much attention to detail.
It's something cool because that's hard to do. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, knowing filmmaking and stuff, especially with cars and setting up that exact shot. I mean, things happen, especially in a city. I mean, you can change things in a shot with CGI.
There's not much different in each picture.
No, but it is a really cool attention to detail, knowing that, you would never think about it. And if you were binging the films, you wouldn't notice at all, right? But that's the point. And that's props to the scenic designer and the people who are behind, making sure the continuity is the same in the movies, knowing the timeline of the films.
Well, because not all great movies do this.
No.
It's like this isn't a thing that's normal for like directors and producers. Because like you'll see like a sports movie where a guy's got a left-handed glove at one part of the movie, and in the background, the other scene in the same movie, he's got a right-hand glove.
Yeah, continuity is a big thing in movies. It's really hard to keep track of. There's a specific person that does that. It's called a script supervisor. We might have talked about that on the show before, but that's a hard position, and they're making sure that the script is, everything on the script is being filmed, and that, when you shoot a film, you don't shoot it in chronological order, like of the film. Usually shoot it whatever makes sense for the least amount of money, that if they were like, hey, you see this shot in this office and we're filming this scene in this office, basically, even if you go back to that office like 3 or 4 times throughout the course of that movie, I'm telling you that office scene, all those office scenes were filmed probably within the same day or two.
It's also like availability.
Yes.
Like if you're like filming in New York City, Madison Square Garden, you can only pay technically. It's probably expensive as shit to block off an area in Madison Square Garden, or not Madison Square Garden. What is it called?
Like Times Square, like
Times
New
Square,
York?
like in the Times Square. So obviously you'd have to shoot. Like that's difficult from a producer, director, actor, actress point of view.
There's a lot of things that go in, like are involved with that. So cool production design, like detail.
For sure, that guy deserves a raise.
Next thing is in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and this is, spoiler alert, when Samuel L. Jackson's character Nick Fury dies. It's a important part of the movie. You realize that it's fake, and that he like faked his own death. And towards the end of the film, you will see him, and he is looking over his grave. And on the grave, it reads...
It's like a Bible verse or something, right?
It reads, "The path of the righteous man." And this is a cool nod to Samuel L. Jackson's other role in Pulp Fiction, where his character quotes that line. Wow. So it's a cool connection of like his characters. Samuel L. Jackson has done so many iconic roles. There's a really cool connection too. So in the same movie, actually, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, in the beginning of the film, Captain America has a book. So he got frozen into the ice in the 1940s, and then he came out of the ice in like 2011, right? So he missed a bunch of like pop culture and stuff. So a lot of people were giving him examples of things that he should, movies to watch, TV shows to watch, books to read, albums to listen to, right? To know pop culture over the course of the last 70 years. So he has this book, and when somebody gives him an idea or like a thing that he should look up, he writes it down. And it's cool because in that book, it says to look up Star Wars, but Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson's character, was also in Star Wars. Wow. So like there's some cool things that it's like, okay, like
that's the stuff I like.
You know what I mean?
That's extra interesting. Like to see they put a quote from another different movie of Samuel L. Jackson that has nothing to do with Marvel is pretty cool.
And another production design thing, as I'm thinking about it. So Chris Evans' character, Captain America, is reading this book, right, that he writes down. What's interesting about this book, and whenever words and like language is written down and shown on screen in a movie or TV show, most of the time that picture has to be modified for different countries and different languages. So if it's like, hey, like, Star Wars and Star Trek and SpongeBob or like whatever, right? It's definitely not SpongeBob, but that idea,
Captain
right?
Marvel got SpongeBob. Watch SpongeBob. Just picture him sitting on his couch with a shield watching SpongeBob.
But that idea, right? Most of the time it'll be translated to the other language, or if there's something more iconic in that culture to reference, they'll change it. So instead of Star Wars in China, they might switch it to like a Bruce Lee or like a famous film franchise of theirs. So it makes more sense in that culture.
That's actually nuts. That's and like how time consuming that. Like a computer can't do that. So some human has to sit down and actually do that. It's kind of like interesting to see how many languages they would do.
So it's a whole team. Usually, like I just watched this thing from Pixar, and they were talking about how animation and same, works in animation as well. It's a whole team, and there's someone in charge, like in head of it, and they deal with all the posters for different languages and all the different cuts of the film. So there might be, the English version of the film that'll play in America, and maybe something will play over, like a lot of different versions will play overseas, and that cut has to be approved by this person and the team before it gets shipped out.
Nice. Oh, there you go. Check out the Chinese version of Captain America: Winter Soldier. Heard it here first. All right. I think we got 2 more left. The 6th one is that Rapunzel from Tangled is in Frozen. So Rapunzel from Tangled walks through the gates and past Anna as Anna sings, "For the first time in forever."
Yeah, so this is
he's in it. I've never seen Tangled, actually.
Okay, there you go.
So there's not really much I could talk about.
You have Tangled and Frozen that are both Disney animated films. The character designs of Rapunzel and Princess Anna are the same. Like they're very similar in facial structure, and the animation is very similar. So, a lot of the times in animated films, there's, as we theorized before in past episodes with like Pixar, you can kind of be like, hey, like, does this connect? Or, hey, like, this connects. And there's a really famous conspiracy theory about like Tarzan and Rapunzel and Princess Anna and all this stuff, right? So this is the idea that you have Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, and they're showing up to Queen Elsa's coronation.
Did you say Flo Rida?
Flynn Rider.
I thought you said Flo Rida.
No, not Flo Rider. But Flynn Rider and Rapunzel are showing up to Queen Elsa's coronation, and that's when Anna walks out the door. And it's like, okay, so they might be neighboring kingdoms. Or there's this theory, too, where in the beginning of Frozen, you have their parents. So Anna and Elsa's parents die in, like, overseas. Like, there's a whole sequence of them shipping off and getting caught in a storm and basically drowning, and their boat sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And it's like, where were they going? And the big theory is that they were on their way to the kingdom where Flynn and Rapunzel were getting married for their wedding.
Wow.
So they were shipping off to be guests for their wedding, and that's how they died.
Pretty sad they didn't make it back.
No, they didn't.
R.I.P.
There's a lot of really cool theories with Disney. As I said, there's ones with like Tarzan and Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
This was a big one. I had to put it in because I knew Paul would know some shit about this.
There you go.
I was like, this looks like it's a popular one. Let's put it in. Hopefully Paul knows what he's doing. Oh.
And
last one. Oh, here we go. Best for last.
Last one we have here. This is a Back to the Future one, and this is a hidden Easter egg.
Shocker.
Back to the Future is an amazing film. The original script is studied at many film schools across the country, just because it's known as a perfect script. Like the story structure is studied. So there's this really cool Easter egg in there where this deals with, in the beginning of the film, right before Marty gets sent back into time, he goes to the mall. And in the beginning of the film, it says Twin Pines Mall. And, what happens when Marty,
doesn't he crash into a tree?
So Marty, I can tell the story, but Marty accidentally, goes to 88 miles per hour in the mall, and he travels back through time. Well, he gets, sent back to 1955, and on the farm and the original location of where this mall was built. So the idea is that, when Marty left the farm, when he was like trying to escape in the DeLorean, he ran over one of the pine trees on the farm. So instead of them being two pine trees now, he killed one of the pine trees. So now it's only one pine tree that was left standing. Now the mall was named after like that area. So now it is now named Lone Pine Mall at the end of the film when Marty travels back to the present.
So, like, what's the significance of it?
It's just a fun little Easter egg.
Okay, that's why it's not one that I enjoy then. Okay. I like ones that are very significant.
It's just
because I was like, is it like the trees, like, is the mall taking place of the other pine tree that was destroyed?
No.
Yeah, so it's just a little...
Yeah,
I like it, though.
Yeah, the idea is that the mall was called Twin Pine Mall. Marty, in the past, killed one of the trees. So in the future, it is no longer Twin Pine Mall. It is Lone Pine Mall.
That's funny. I get it now. I didn't put 1 and 2 together.
I got you.
I didn't realize that twin implied that there were two pine trees.
There were two pine trees, and he killed one.
Yeah.
So now it's Lone Pine.
I didn't put that together. Now I do. Now I do like it a little bit better.
There you go. It's like a fun Easter egg.
That is funny. That is funny.
That if you pay attention to the scene, you'll get it.
No longer together. Lonely pine tree.
Last segment we have here.
We have an article called 10 Life Lessons I've Learned from My 20s. And we have 6 of them, so me and Paul are almost in our mid-20s.
Yes.
So we're still in our early stages, still young bucks, still young studs. But we're going to go through 6 of these and see what we can kind of just talk about and what we've experienced so far in our 4 years so far.
It's something that I've seen TikTok accounts about, like, how to survive your 20s, and I've talked to a lot of people about it because I think we talked about it last week on the show.
Last show.
Where like your 20s is a really interesting time. You could be going to a wedding, or you could be getting trashed on a Tuesday night. You could be babysitting for your friend, or you could be moving across the country for a new job. Like, there's a lot of crazy things that happen in your 20s, so we're just going to talk about some.
First one is fail early and often. Time is your best asset. This is basically trial and error.
Yes.
So the more trial and error you have, the more success you'll basically have. Like in your 20s is your time to not be scared.
Agreed.
Like it's a time where you have unlimited resources. Your parents are still with you, thankfully.
Yeah.
Well, if
Hopefully.
and then you still have other friends that are younger. So like 20s are good. Like you're in the job market. You're probably in your prime of your life, like your prime of technology, understanding like businesses and understanding the growth of like the stock market. Like you're learning everything at once. So that's a great time span to sort of dip your feet into other things and see what sticks and see what you're successful in. So it's a lot of trial and error. The more trial and error you have, the more success you'll have.
Yeah. I mean, well said, Ryan. Well
Thanks.
said.
Appreciate it.
Going off of that, as he said, it is a time to be like reckless almost. Like you do not have to be safe. That's something that I thoroughly believe in. And I'm like, hey, like right now, like I'm just trying to dip my toes in everything and be like, hey, like shoot for the stars. Like this is a time to shoot for the stars, because if you're not paying for, if you're living with your parents and you're not paying rent, if you're not paying car insurance, if you're not paying like certain things that like those bills will
Not having babies yet.
Yeah, like if you're, of course, right? You're not paying for a child, you're not paying for a wedding, like those things where it's like you don't have to be so, you don't have to rely so much on money that it's like, hey, if I want to go for my dream job, or hey, if I want to take 6 months off and try to like figure this out, or like, you know, maybe try to like fix this about my life and move forward, or like get really in shape, or like there's so many different things you could do that you have a lot of time. Next one we have here, super important in your 20s, and something I believe in, is that you can't force friendships. So everyone is kind of at a different point in their life. As I said, you know, in your 20s, you could be doing a lot of different things, and you just might not have time for the friends that, you know, aren't giving you the same time or effort, you know, to keep that friendship alive.
The 20s are a good age range to sort of see who your real friends are.
Correct, yeah.
Because in high school, everyone sees each other every day. In college, you're all going through the same stuff at the same time, practically still taking finals around the same time, around spring break the same time.
Breaks are same time.
But then once people start getting actual jobs and start having careers, and they're more focused about their own career and sort of selfish, which you should be selfish in your 20s, then you'll start to realize who actually cares about like you, and we'll reach out and like, hey, how's the work doing, or how's your family doing? Like you'll get to see, because once you're in your 20s, it is a time where you're supposed to be selfish, because you're supposed to take advantage of the opportunities. But can you be selfish and a good friend and reach out and care about what your friends are doing too?
And that's something too that I've learned is like, and I think as you'll grow older, is like, if I don't see you in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and like you want to go get food, or like you want to like, it's like nothing ever happened, right? It's like, no, we are living different lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know you work, I know you have a girlfriend, I know you're trying to do things.
That's a great point. It's like you have those, like you'll see, like you can't force friends. So like when you finally be like, hey, I want to get food, say I don't see you for 4 months, 3 months. But when we can just pick it up and kick it like we used to, if we were just, hey, you want to go to the movies, you want to go play golf, haven't seen you in 3 months, kick it like usual. It's not forcing a friend. It's like a friend that you know is always going to be there.
Correct. Yeah. Perfect.
Thanks. Well, you kind of said it.
Yeah, you're the best.
You threw up the oop.
Or make a podcast together. Whatever you guys want to do.
Safari. Do I have the next one?
Yeah, you do.
So the next one is, you're not supposed to accomplish all of your goals. You're a big goal guy, Paul.
Yeah, I am. The problem with a lot of people is that you set, including myself, you set these like number goals. So something like us, right? So say we want to be like, hey, we want to hit 200,000 followers on TikTok by September, right? And it's like, if you don't hit that goal, you feel like you failed. But at the end of the day, like you shouldn't be putting limits or like number limits on those things that no one else is forcing you to do. It's like, hey, like, you know, everyone works at their different speed. As we talk about comedians or famous people, like everyone has their own journey, and a lot of people might get discovered very easily from a young age, and it might take someone years of auditioning and years of like going paycheck to paycheck to finally be like a well-known actor. So everyone's on their own journey, and you don't have don't be like, hey, I want to be married by 30. I want to have kids by 35. Like there are expectations that like no one is forcing you to have.
Yeah.
And like you could just have them at a normal rate and when it works best for you, because every other person is different in their own way.
Also, goals aren't supposed to be easily achievable.
Correct.
Like what I'm trying to start to reflect on as I like work on comedy is just like appreciating the process. Because a lot of people, like even famous people, I was watching Steve Will Do It from Nelk Boys, was on Steve-O from Jackass's podcast. And I didn't know he was 22, which is nuts. And he has a shit ton of money. And he was like, yeah, it was like, Steve-O was like, well, what drives you? Like, what are your goals? And he was like, well, yeah, because he was talking about financially. And Steve will do it was like, yeah, I got to $100,000. That was my goal. But then once I got to my goal, I wanted more. So then I wanted to make $1 million. And then once I made $1 million, I wanted more. It's like my goal overall is to get $1 billion, like being a billionaire at 25. But then he's like, once I get to a billionaire, I'm going to want more. Like I'm going to be a 10 billion billionaire or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But like, it is just like you gotta like appreciate the process because goals are gonna be hard and they're meant that way. But once you achieve a goal, it's like you hear actors and actresses all the time. Like you were in this big movie, you achieve your goal, they feel like it's just like nothing's there. Like it just happened, and I just wish I paid more attention to the process rather than just trying to get to my goal. Because that's what the beauty in life is the process to get to the goal instead of just getting there.
It's about the journey, not always about the destination.
This guy pulling out the quotes. There
I got you.
That time I threw the oop and you don't.
Yep. Next one is I talked to you about this a couple weeks ago. No one actually knows what the hell they're doing in life. And this goes for every phase of your life, and something that I'm learning, and I think if you learn and know at like any age, super interesting, where it's like, okay, if I feel like I don't know what I'm doing or I have to have everything figured out, I'm going to let you know 95% of people don't have it figured out. Everyone is learning something new as they're continuing their life and their new like age, range or family structure. It's like, hey, like, I thought, you might think like your dad or your mom.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
right?
your parents, you think your parents are superheroes.
Yeah.
Then when you get to the 20s, you're like, okay, they don't have their shit together.
It's like you don't think.
No offense, my mom's watching, but they're not perfect.
You don't think your mom struggled being like a parent for the first time, or your dad struggled, or like maybe there was a hard day at work and he has to come home and you're freaking like begging him to play, and he's like he had a hard ass day trying to support you, but like he'll go the extra mile and like just play with you because he's like you're his son. But and they make mistakes too. Like it's like my mom, like she's not making mistakes. It's like, dude, I bet your mom is. Like your mom probably has a lot of mistakes or regrets that she like kind of wish she did. Everyone's figuring out their life as they continue throughout it.
So one last thing where I sort of understood this message where no one actually knows what the hell they're doing is when I was on the golf course. And when I went golfing for the first time, when you go golfing, you're a little hesitant for the first time because you suck. And you feel like you don't belong there because you suck and it takes you a while to get into the hole. And you feel like you don't belong there. So then there's people playing behind you. So you go, you know what? I should let these people go because they're probably better than me. And I feel bad for holding them up. So this one time I let these old guys tee off. So we're sitting next to them, letting them go because we feel bad. Dude shanks a tee shot, almost hits me. I'm like, okay. My mentality now is that everyone here who's golfing sucks.
Yeah.
So everyone in life does not know what the hell they're doing. They may look like they know what they're doing, but everybody has their own problems. And everyone at the golf course sucks just as bad as you do, so don't let them pass. And you tee off and you play that hole. All right, next one. Here we got 2 left before we end the show. The next one is the world doesn't care about you. This is kind of deep. It's kind of like, you kind of see where like celebrities. It's like no matter what their stats you are, like you see this in the NFL all the time. Like, so a running back tears his ACL on his rookie deal. And what happens? What do they always say? Next man up.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what records they break, unless they're like the Tom Brady or the Derek Jeters, you're always replaceable. I mean, that's from a different perspective, not from like a family perspective, but it's true. Like if you get fired from your job or you make a mistake and you like move companies, someone else takes your spot.
Yeah.
It's a moving cycle, and truly the world doesn't really care about you.
That was something where I saw where it was like, oh, I don't want to leave my job because, what would they do without me? Or like, a lot of people depend on me. It's like, dude, go do your thing. Like
right.
go make sure that you're good and that you are fulfilled and all this stuff, because at the end of the day, they can hire someone else. You might feel as though you're important, and to the people in that office, you probably are. I'm not saying you are not, but at the end of the day too, like they'll be okay without you. So it's like, hey, if you're like back and forth of like, oh, should I do this? Or like, I don't know. Like I have my family and, my friends and this, that, and the other. It's like, dude, make the decision what's best for you and what help you in the future.
Right. And one last thing on this is that like, we don't talk about politics much.
No.
But I kind of have that mindset when watching like the news and politics. It's like my mom and my grandmother always get mad at the TV. I'm like, you can only control so much. Like these people who are in like, I mean, not to be fucked up, I'm an asshole for a second, but like they don't really care about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they could say go out and vote, but you only have one vote. It can be like a big, powerful vote in the swing of things, but it's like the world truly doesn't care about you. Like, people are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, in office, or like, I'm not a big political guy, but like, when people have those roles, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Like a manager of a baseball team. It's just like, what your opinion is doesn't really matter all that much in a grand scheme of things, because you're always replaceable.
Yeah. So do what you want.
Yeah,
It's
do what.
more
Yeah,
like,
not negative Nancy over here.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
It's more implying to just do shit you like you said.
And then in looking back on goals, the last one too is like, pop culture is full of extremes. Just practice in moderation. So, a lot of people are doing amazing things, or like perfect example is Instagram, right? Everyone's putting their best photo on Instagram, not the shitty 21s they took to get to that photo. Right. So it is an extreme. You can work your way up to those things, and people are only putting their best self in the limelight. So it's like, if you're trying, don't
beat yourself up.
Yeah, like and don't like compare yourself to others is what I was kind of being like,
Yeah, so like I saw, it's like that picture of Kim Kardashian where she's like laying down and it's photoshopped. It's like a bikini pic, and there's like a TikTok of like her finger going like rubbing her body, and then her finger like is disformed because it's a photoshopped at her waist. It's like, you can't take those things seriously. Like, everything is always particular, and everything's always edited and filtered, and you can't take that to heart. You just gotta do what you love, keep going on, and the 20s are your best years, so just take advantage of it.
I agree. That is the end of our show. Life's a party, baby. Thanks for listening and getting to the end. As always, please give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Life's a Party Pod if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching YouTube. If not, go to YouTube and hit that subscribe.
This is a big thing. We got to start pushing subscribe.
Ryan's trying to get to 1,000. We're right under 800 subscribers.
So subscribe.
That would really help us out.
I'm not even mean to yell at you.
But thanks a lot. We appreciate you guys as always.
Music. Take us out.
Peace.
Later. Subscribe.